That's good. Are we live? Are we live? Yeah, that's good. I don't know, man. I don't know. He might be grilling some burgers or steaks or something, as Agent normally does in his Hawaiian shirt. So we'll see. But yeah, man, we're on the throwdown, and we got playoffs coming up. We got a week, maybe 2 weeks left in the season, and it's exciting. It's a good time to be in 239, and let's get on and roll with it. Dolly, how you doing today?
I'm great. I'm great. Are you guys sure this is on? It's not coming up for me on the.
Yeah, it's on. Okay, now my mic should be working.
Okay, yeah.
Chat couldn't hear me, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's nice to finally be back on. It's been a very, very difficult month and a half for me, but I got on, and hopefully I can give you guys a nice, fresh perspective. It might be wrong, but I'm happy to give it to you anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna tonight. Just to kind of make sure, because I know my mic was muted. It's because I just reset up my computer back at home. Real quickly, we're not going to call the show the Thursday Throwdown anymore. It's just the Throwdown. It's going to alternate between some Wednesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays and Thursdays. Sorry.
No percentage, no sound.
Yeah, it's fixed now. I just fixed it.
Cool.
And we're going to be doing that because there's some nights I'm available. There's some nights that Daly's available. There's some nights that we're both not. It's just how it's kind of working out. And oddly enough, tonight was supposed to be the night that all of us were available, which is why we did it tonight. But Daly got called into work for some emergency that's going on. So that's why we have us three here with myself, Pale, and Dolly. Agent said he'll be joining us later, which is why Pale is like jokingly laughing, saying he doesn't know because he might be grilling. But we're going to break down the show pretty well for you tonight. I know all three of us can kind of give you guys some great insight. We're getting towards the end of the season, and we'll get into those topics. But Pale, let's do this right now, okay? I'm trying to pull it up here. If the playoffs happen right now, I know you wanted to talk about some of these higher seeded teams. If the playoffs were to happen right now, just take the teams that are already 1 through 8, and let's break it down. Like 1 versus 8 right now, that would be the Peninsula Pirates versus the 9-inch Males. Just break it down for us. Break down how that series would go.
Chile's not in first anymore?
No, the Pirates have 6 games more than Chile, but by 1 point. We'll just go by the statistics of right now in this moment because, you never know. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, the Peninsula Pirates is a D-Mark team. They've made a lot of changes recently. You got D-Mart, I think is playing center now with Burks on right wing and BTW on left wing. And I think that's gonna help his team. I think it has helped his team. Welcome to the Web is a great center, and it's unfortunate that to make the change that he needed to make, he had to move him. I'm sure he felt a lot of pain doing that, but they needed a right-hand shot on that forward line desperately. There was just like not enough play happening on the left side of the ice with Berkey over there on a left-handed shot, and so they needed to make that change, and they did, and it's worked out. They're still winning games, and they're still a team to be reckoned with. Obviously, they're in first place in the league. On the other end of the spectrum, you got 9-inch Males who I don't even know what has happened with this team. Stealth Luca D is on center. You got Esoteric. The Lime is playing out of his mind. He's playing great for that team. And it's just they can't get the puck to go in the net. And it doesn't matter what line happens. I think Esso even went back and played goalie last night and put Lynam at center. And, there was just like a whole bunch going on that team. I think it's super emo. At this point, I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs. I think the 8 seed is going to be between Ski Mask Club and Muffin Men. But they've just fallen off completely. They started the season out hot, and that's why they're in a playoff position currently. But their last couple series, they haven't been able to do anything.
All right. Well, hey, Agent, welcome to the stream, buddy. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad that you weren't a liar. You did make it. You've been consistent with making it, so I'm proud of you,
Hey,
man.
it was not lying. I've been busy, man. I've been trying to get yard work done. It's been raining here like every day. So like the last 2 days have been sunny and 85 degrees.
Did you
So
move
I've
the
been
grill
trying to-
around at all?
Huh?
Did you move the grill around at all?
I did. I cleaned the garage. I moved the grill. Things are happening around here.
Well, okay, so since you just came in, what we're doing right now is we're breaking down potential playoff matchups and then each team within them, of course. So the Pirates are currently sitting in first place, and then the 9-inch males are at 8. Pale was just kind of saying how the 9-inch males will probably drop out, and either the Muffin Men or the Ski Mask 11 will probably get into that spot. But let's just go with right now.
Points and what the schedule shows us too. Muffin Men do.
Okay, so with that,
Because
then,
you
if you have more
can't-
points, then you guys are in 8th place. Yeah, so you guys are in 8th place then, if that's the case. So, all right. You got the Peninsula Pirates versus the Muffin Men then. Pale, I'll go back to you in a second, but Dolly, what is the key factor if that's going to be the series? What is going to be the person that is going to make the difference? What are the Muffin Men going to have to do to beat the Pirates? Break it down for us.
Well, I mean, it's tough. I mean, we are kind of speculating because we're not sure who's going to end up where in terms of standings. But for these particular two teams, it's going to be D-Mart. He's going to play center, and he needs to really fit into that role and play. He's a great player, but he's a tremendous right wing. So he's moving himself to center. If he can adapt really well and his wingers feed off of him, and he plays the defensive game that he's able to play, that'll really really help his team. On the flip side. Some people don't want to hear it, but it's got to be Brick City. I mean, that guy's a competitor. He wants to win. He always does what he can, whether it's the right way of doing it or not. He tries his ass off to win. So those will be the catalysts for each team. In terms of which team I think has the edge, I definitely got to give it to Peninsula Pirates. You can't count out Jelly's team. They have some great players, agents on that team too. But D-Mart just seems to get it done. BTW is a great player. Sober's been great for him all season. And Rocco, when he shows up, is also quite good. So very tough to beat the Pirates. I'm going to have to take them.
Okay. Pale, so now that you know it's the Muffin Men most likely, what are you thinking now instead of the 9-inch males?
Yeah, I mean, the Brick City effect is real, man. He gets into the playoffs, either sneaking in or dominating his way in. He's a playoff player, and he gets in, and he's a guy that can make adjustments on the fly. And if this is the matchup that happens, then D-Mart's going to need to stay on his toes, and he's going to need to be able to find out what they're doing and adjust right back, because the Muffin Men are a team that are going to look at your play style, and they're going to try and beat you in a variety of different ways. And whatever way they decide that they're going to do, they're going to be able to flip the script and turn it around and do something else. I think that they're going to be a dangerous team going into the playoffs for any of the top seeds that are going to end up playing them.
I can agree. Agent, so since obviously you're on the Muffin Men, I'll ask you this question. What does your team have to do in order to come out successful if that is the first round matchup you guys play in the playoffs?
I don't know, but I'm gonna find out Monday. We play Dan Monday before the season ends, so
That's interesting.
we're gonna have a kind of maybe a pre-playoff matchup in a way on a week in advance. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how this all breaks down. We play Kinky Sunday and we play Dan on Monday, and those are I think our last two series. So I think there might still be some jumbling in the standings. I don't know. It's all time will tell type of thing. But I think Pale made a good point. Is our team. There's been times we've been really struggling to score, man. I don't know why, what the reason is, but then all of a sudden our defense steps up, So we've been able to, whatever our team needs or whatever the other team's doing against us, we've been really good at adjusting. We don't keep the same play style. We play fast, we play slow, we trap, we don't trap. So I think that's been one strong point for us of being able to switch it up or do whatever we need to do to at least compete. Even Chile, we got blown out against Chile, and then we kind of did a stupid strategy, but we had a D-man stay back and cover surprise me, and we had 1-goal games, 2 and 3. So it's just, dumb way of playing, but adjustments were made and it helped. So I think that's one thing that's going to be key for us come playoff time.
Okay, and my little thing I'll add to it, if I think there's one player from each team that affects this series, I'm going to go with each goaltender. You've got Sober, who is his first season playing goalie in this league. He is one of the top goalies right now for stats-wise. And then you've got ability on the other side. He's a championship goalie, but he has his nights where he's on or he has his nights where he's off. And I haven't talked to him in a while, but I don't know how invested he is this season. I don't know how he's doing. I haven't watched anything.
He's good. He's been playing good.
That's good then. And if he can keep that going, if he can really play at the level that ability can play at in net, I think your team has a very strong chance, because all it takes is for your team to put the puck in on the net or put the puck in the net against the Pirates. And I think Sober's really going to have to play his game against you guys, because like Pale said, he's the Brick City effect, that you guys will adjust. You guys will have a game plan. There will be plays to get the puck on net, and even in the net, of course. So I think it's going to come down to a battle of goaltenders. But right now, like Pale said, I got the upper hand is to the Peninsula Pirates, of course. But we can obviously see where that would go. But we'll move on from that. So the second potential matchup we'd see right now would then be the Chili Con Carnage versus the non-Kane Sensuals. Granted, non-Kane Sensuals are 3 games behind the Tide Pod Buffet and only 1 point behind, so that will probably switch. But we'll just keep it moving forward with the standings where they're at right now and say Chili Con Carnage versus non-Kane Sensuals. Dalai Lama, the Chili Con Carnage, non-Kane Sensuals. Break it down.
Well, the only team that actually beat them and swept them this year was non-Kane. First series of the season. Both teams have changed drastically for the better. Regardless of how people got players in their team, both of these teams are extremely talented. These 6 players on both sides of the ice are really, really good. It's a tough one. Pogs has a great team, and they move the puck fast, and they know how to use their defense. And Bob has been fantastic. People don't give Bob enough credit. He's turned himself into quite the good goalie. On the flip side, you have a very, very defensive team, which is usually a nightmare for rush teams. So I got to give it to non-Kane, only because defensively as a unit, I think they're going to be able to do something that most teams won't. Yeah, I'm going to give it to non-Kane.
Okay, Pale, your thoughts?
Yeah, man. Chili Con Carnage, we haven't played them yet. They're our last series of the year, so I haven't been able to actually witness, them firsthand, but I do know that they're a buzzsaw offensively, man. They've been running up the score on people, and they've been keeping the puck out of the net. I think right now Dolly's team is the only team that has the least goals against compared to them at the moment, and I think they have 3 more games played than you guys, or 6, something like that, and it's not by a lot. So they're able to move the puck well. They're able to keep the puck out of the net. They're able to score at will. Pogson surprised me of doing this in the league for 3 seasons now. We know what they're capable of, but they've got to get over the hump in the playoffs. They haven't been able to get a cup together here in 239 yet, so we'll see what happens. On the other side, non-Kane has a really talented group. Regardless of how C-Dub put it together, he's put together a really, really good team for another season where C-Dub is, just steamrolling his way into the playoffs. Sea-Doo, Ezreal, Welcome to the Web, and himself are a ridiculous starting 4 to go to battle with. And then, I would look forward to this series. This would be a gigantic series. I don't think it's going to happen. I think non-Kane is going to move up in the standings before the end of the year. But, these would be 2 juggernauts going against each other in the first round, and I don't know how you could call it one way or the other.
Agreed with you. Agent, we'll take it a little bit out. The way I was just saying it, we'll do the whole, how I predicted a player. Pick a player from each team that needs to show up, needs to do their part, or hasn't been doing their part, or has been really, really running the train on the team and really directing everything that needs to be going. Who do you think that player is for each team?
I think it's both captains. Honestly, dead straight forward. I think Pogs needs to. I mean, the team's been playing great defense already, so I think they need to stay on that, because I don't think they're going to be able to play that rush game that they have played against a majority of the league. I mean, they're probably one of the fastest playing teams in the league. I'll give them that. They've scored all those goals. They deserve that point. But I think C-Dub's crew is going to be a testament on that defense to stand strong and kind of slow that rush, where it's going to be kind of more of a slow play game, and who's going to execute better, really. And I think Pogs needs to be able to adjust and help his team better. Same for C-Dub on the backside. He needs to be able to keep his team, slow them down. Don't fall into that speed game that Carnage plays, man. I mean, that's what they do. If they can get you on the run, you're going to lose. You're going to lose every fucking time. That team finishes better than anybody. I mean, it proves it stats-wise. So I think you just have to play them slow, play them smart, and be ready to adjust.
Well, so the same thing you just said with C-Dub there being that guy. And he's exactly my pick as well for this whole series. I think he, last season for the non-Kane Sensuals, came in and told our team, listen, the Chili Con Carnage play this specific type of offense. And they played it exactly the way he described it, and we won the series in 5 games. And I think that team he has now is much more talented than the team we had last season. And I think Pogs' team right now is a little bit more talented than it was last season, even with a lot of the same key components. I think the Chili Con Carnage offense is very repetitive. You know, you look for the same one-timers, the same short side shots. And I listen, I can't put anything against them. They're leading the league in goals for. I mean, it surprised me number 1 in the league in points. They're the least amount of goals in the league, I think, except for like Cuties that are behind them or above them by 3 goals. But of course, like the 3 games in hand or whatever it may be. But I think their offense is very repetitive, and Dub knows that. And then having him and Sea-Doo back there really helps. And as long as Tomahawk can play his game, I know I gripe him a lot. As long as he can play his game, I think that team is set for a very solid playoff run. Like Pale said, it's very hard to choose between these two. I do think non-Kane moves out of the 7 spot. But if these two do end up playing each other, I'm going to say it now, I think non-Kane beats the Chili Con Carnage. But I do see that someone joined us here. We haven't seen his face in a couple of weeks. Mr. Ability, how you doing, man?
Oh, man, I have finally got a moment to relax and join a beautiful cast of the Thursday Throwdown right here for 239 special. I'll tell you what, I can't believe what my ears just heard, though. I got to be honest with you. I'm looking at some stats, and I'm seeing what the non-consensuals have put together, and I'm seeing what the Carnage have put together, and oh, boy. I'll tell you what, C-Dub's team's good. They have a fundamentally sound defensive style. They like to run, and they're good with it. But I do not think that is going to stop the offensive onslaught that the Carnage are dishing around the whole league this season. I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. Hold on. I got to click a button real quick. Float is like 3rd on the team. He's got 93 points, all right? That is almost double what the top scorer on the Consensuals has. I don't see it happening, man. I think that, in my opinion here, and I jumped into this conversation late, so I don't even know what the actual topic is here, but Carnage is probably just going to clean sweep everybody they face. I mean, Consensuals might take 1 game off a defensive luster, okay? I'll give them that. But, that's a tough team to beat, man.
You're not wrong. So let me ask you this then, because we got your opinion on that. I'll go right into the next playoff matchup. That's what we're doing right now. We're breaking down like what would be potential playoff matchups right now, because we're getting into those like final few series. Cutie Patooties versus the Tide Pod Buffet is what it's looking like. Most likely it will be the non-Kane Sensuals, but it's looking like it's going to be the Tide Pod Buffet. Cutie Patooties, Tide Pod Buffet, Mr. Ability, Ryan, on the show for the first time in a while. Break down how you think this series would go.
Oh, okay. So Thamps and Hockey Town, those guys, they are playing pretty good. When we faced them, they were a little bit stronger, offensively than I really anticipated it being. And, Viper threw in his 2 cents into the mix too. And those guys, when they get it going, they are a force to be reckoned with. Rev Hellcat too. Who is the right D on that team? Is it Tompkins?
Tompkins, yep.
Okay, because I swear we played Pounders when we played them. But anyhow, I've got no faith in Holtby, to be honest with you. No matter how much I think the defensive squad for those guys can put it together, Holtby, I think, has had something happen to him this season that he's just not been able to rebound from. And, when you top that off going against a team that has, my boy Cosmic Fade, I mean, dude's a legend already, and he's only a teenager. They got Dalai Lama. This guy is not only sexy, but the way he dishes the puck, and he'll put it in the top corner of your goal, so watch the fuck out. That guy's going to be bringing it. Crazy Yeti has been playing out of his mind, too. Thomps has been playing. This whole team's been playing well. Even the guy that I doubted initially at the first series that I watched him play, Kevin, he has turned it around, and he has been contributing to this team like crazy. He's right behind Cosmic with 68 points. Cosmic has 70. So, Obviously, I'm not going to pick against two people that I previously drafted. I think that the cutie patooties, they play really sexy, and they are really sexy. I'm going to give them the dubs.
All right. Mr. Pale Poner, how about you give us your opinion?
Yeah. So we just got to play the cutie patooties earlier this week, and unfortunately that didn't go so well for us. We got blown out the first game. It was like 6-1. We ended up making it a little bit more respectable and making it 6-3. This team is strong everywhere, and it's going to be really hard to see them not go far in the playoffs. Tide Pod Buffet, they've had a really good season, even with the amount of changes that Thamps has made. I think he's had a really good season as a captain. I think he's made a lot of good moves, and he's looking like they're a really solid team. But I'm not so sure that this would be the best matchup for them. I think Cutie Patooties would go in for maybe a sweep, maybe a little bit, one game or two to Tide Pod, but that's a really tough matchup for Tide Pod in the first round.
Agreed. This is what I think with this team, all right? I think the Cutie Patooties they're my odds-are favorite to go into this playoffs, and the reason is they have a very great goaltender. They have Dolly and Necky back there in defense, so that's solid. And then you've got Cosmic and Kevin and Yeti. And I think one of you guys said something about Yeti. I think it was ability. Yeti is playing phenomenal for being that third forward. And how late did you get him in the draft, Dolly?
I think he was somewhere along the lines of the 8th last pick of the draft.
Okay, so he has been playing phenomenal with 49 points. He has 37 goals. He has more goals than Cosmic and Kevin, and that may be because they're setting him up or whatever it may be. But I remember hearing something in Dolly's stream about how he's getting like a hat trick per series or a few of them per series.
7 straight series. He's had at least 1, sometimes 2.
So this guy's playing great as a forward. That's that last pick there on the team. You've got Necky on the back end, who's been playing solid defensively. You got Dolly, who's been playing solid both defensively and offensively. Thomps, who's being a great goalie. This team just has so much to it that offensively they're a hard team to stop. Defensively they're a hard team to get around. Goaltending, a hard team to score on. And I think every other team you can kind of pick apart one section of their team and say, oh, this is what they're weak in. I don't think there's a section of this team that's hard. I think if Dolly plays the defense that he can play, I think this team shoe-in favorite to win it all. But Dolly, give us your opinion on what you think your team would have to do in order to beat the Tide Pod Buffet.
Jeez. Look, Thamps put together a good team. He's done a tremendous job considering his season and how it started and what happened. But, man, we won 18 straight games. We're playing really well, and to be honest with you, I've played like shit. My team is dragging me through the season. I just need them to keep playing the way they're playing. You know what's funny is that Yeti's got like 12 less games than everybody else in the league, eh? He's got like a 920 win percentage, which is retarded. I couldn't have gotten a better person and a better player than him. I need my team to just keep playing the way they're playing. I have zero complaints except for myself because I'm a big old bag of shit lately.
Or Cosmic falling asleep.
Or Cosmic. Well, you know what? Even when Cosmic fell asleep, he fell asleep for the first game, and I played forward, and Johnny Blaze stepped in, and we lost nothing. We still beat SO's team. Nothing. Blaze has been fantastic. Fuck. I don't know. Look, they got a tremendous team, and I'm not taking anything for granted. We're just going series by series right now. We're on a great streak, but you can't really count Russ and them out. Kayla's been fantastic. You say what you want about Holtby. Yeah, he's a rage monster. Yeah, he was a bit of a tool earlier, but he's still a good goalie, and he's going to be hard to beat. We take nothing for granted on our team, especially considering how it's been for us. So I think it'll be a tough series. Obviously, I'm going to pick my team because it's my team.
Yeah.
But they're a good team, and it will be fun to play.
I will tell you
really
this.
quick.
Oh,
Really
go
quick.
ahead.
I want to just correct what I said, because if what I'm seeing, like, okay, so I haven't really been alive for 2 weeks, okay? I've been super busy, and that's no joke. That's the whole reason I haven't made these show appearances, because trust me, 239, I love you. I would have all your babies. Most of you. But Holtby's stats here, since this trade, .898 is what I'm looking at.
Well, and that's what I was just
5-0.
going to bring up.
Undefeated?
Yep.
Holy shit, maybe he has come back. I wasn't awoken.
I will tell you this, because that was something interesting I wanted to bring up. I don't, because I knew the stat was going to make it very deceiving. I'm going to tell you now, this team is a lot better than what you initially look at. We went to play them for Donnie's Diner. We didn't think it was going to be anything too special. We thought it'd be a pretty even series. We see how it would go. I'm telling you now, like, our team didn't play the greatest, but still, when we're not playing the greatest, we should still be able to compete. They walked all over us, offensively, defensively. We couldn't get quality chances on Holtby. I just think their team is playing very, very well compared to what the roster looks like they should play as. And, I mean, you got to give them credit there, but that's still, for me, though, like I was saying, the Cutie Patooties just have too strong of a roster to not continue to do what they're doing. And it's just, it's going to continue carrying forward. And I'm expecting my team's ass to get beat next Thursday when we play them. So that'll be very... Wait, it's next Thursday, Dollar? Is that tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Sick! All right, anyway, we'll move into the next thing. So, Agent, somehow the in-betweeners went from being that team that was almost in first place to being in fifth place, playing against the bad boys, Mr. Pale Poner and his squad. Let's hear it.
I think there's something going on in that locker room, man. I think there's more to it than what people hear or see or know. And I think there's a strength of schedule thing. I mean, they played some of the bottom tier teams to start the season, and now they're coming into the end of the season and they're playing some really good teams. And I think you're seeing some, mistakes, I guess, weaknesses from them that's kind of coming out. And you're seeing a team that has been at the top of the leaderboard all season. I mean, 1-2 top all season. And you're kind of seeing them dwindle down. I don't know what the points are. I don't have them in front of me and stuff, but I think they have 2 series left or 3 series left, and they're against some tough teams. I mean, they aren't free points by any means, so they're not guaranteed 5th place by any means. They're in a tough spot right now that they need to pick up some points to, I guess, maybe pick who they want to play against. It'd be a way to put it. They've been struggling, and that's all I can say is I think there's more to the story than what people know.
Okay. If you had to pick one of the teams between the bad boys or the in-betweeners, who are you picking?
they're both trending down right now. They're both struggling. That's tough. I mean, I think you're going to see Schwartz rally the troops. Honestly, I think you're going to see him kind of put the backpack on, but I don't think it's going to be, if that's the series that it ends up being. I think it's going to be a long series. I think it's going to be a 6-7 game series. If I had to pick one, I think it's going to be the in-betweeners.
Okay. Mr. Dalai Lama, what about you? What are you thinking?
All right, I'm probably gonna hurt some people's feelings. I don't give a fuck. Look.
Well, here,
okay,
do you want to save some of it? Do you want to save something for that next topic of when we talk about the in-betweeners and the 9-inch males specifically, or do you just want to go all?
Oh, bring the heat!
I'm gonna talk about both these teams really quick. Look,
go ahead.
We just played Pale's team, and there's a lot of good things going for that team. There's a lot. They were hard to play, but I gotta tell you, Swagger, you gotta play some fucking defense, man. I don't know what you were doing, but you definitely probably cost your team game 2 just by not coming back, because that was just silly. And for the in-betweeners, use your friggin' defense, guys. Jesus. You have guys back there. Work with them. Try and make it work. It's so easy to cover 3 people. What are you doing? Both of these teams have tremendous amounts of talent, and you guys aren't playing full games, and it's a detriment to both of you. It's silly. Fuck. If I had to pick a team, though, this is going to hurt some feelings, but I would say that the bad boys would pull it out 6 or 7. I don't know. They just got guys that get it done. Until I see Schwartz carry a team through, I'm not going to believe. Schwartz proved me wrong, but for now, I'm going bad boys. Sorry.
Okay, Mr. Ability there, Mr. Ryan Randall. What do you think?
Man, I don't even know if I want to touch on this, man. Dolly just cracked the whip. I don't know. One thing that I think tells a big story in a lot of these matchups is what teams have previously done. I'm kind of a stats guy, man, and what I see is that the in-betweeners have posted a lot more points around their team than the bad boys. Another thing that I've noticed, too, is that in the last series, what I took from watching the bad boys was that Figo had to step up. Now, I said this earlier in a throwdown, earlier in the season, and I got chirped by Figo for it, but I said he needed to step up, and he ended up stepping up in this last series. But what I saw was he was the only one stepping up. So I can kind of reiterate what Dolly said about Swag. Swag's got to come out there. He's got to play strong. He's got to play strong on both sides of the ice. As far as being able to contain Grish and Schwartz, I call him Schwartz. I like Schwartz better, but man, it's not happening, man. I don't see it happening. I think. I think the bad boys are in for a round one upset if that ends up being a matchup. It's not to hurt feelings. It's just that I don't think that they have it together as a squad. I don't know if those guys are practicing every night or even once a week. I don't know if they're practicing at all. But they're going to need to. If this ends up being the matchup and they go up against Schwartz and Grish, those guys bring the heat, and they can do it in a flurry. You might shut them down for a period, man, but once they get going, they can toss 6 on you real quick. So that's going to be a very interesting, fun to watch matchup if we get to see it here at 239.
I agree with you, and something I want to kind of pull out of what you said there is the whole you're a stats guy. I'm the opposite of us being a stats guy, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because every night of the week when you get on to play NHL, you never play the same way you always do. Like, you could either be great, you could be really bad, or you could be average. And I think everybody has those nights. And I think when I look at these two teams, I'm going to use what Dolly said, that we have yet to see Schwartz carry a team fully all the way through. And I mean, the team is on a decline, and that's kind of, that trend continues going towards the playoffs. I mean, they're not in a great position. And when I look at the Bad Boys roster, you see a team of the forward lineup of Swag, Pale, and Figo. It blows my mind that forward lineup was able to be made. I think Dolly's point of Swag needs to play more defense is 100% right, because when we played in the beginning of the season, that it's the same thing I would have pointed out. But you got Drug Monkey back there, and you know, Thug's playing great in net. This team's got it going. I just think if the Bad Boys play the game that they have shown in the past, not even as a team but as individuals, can play their game that they play best, I think they pull out a series win against these guys, and I think it's a longer series, like you guys said, because it's going to be a battle of two titans that can really play. They can score, and that's really their best part of their game. I'll tell you, when we played them without Pale in that roster, that team crumbled. When Pale came in, that team had everything down packed from board to board, from net to net. Everything was set. So I do think that the Bad Boys take it in a longer series. But Pale, we'll go to you here. You look at the in-betweeners. What do you think their flaws are, and what do you guys have to capitalize on as a team?
Yeah, I mean, they're another team that we haven't played yet. We play them earlier or next week. So we haven't been able to see it firsthand either yet. But, you know, I think watching streams and stuff like that, you see it. And Dolly kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, they need to use their defense on offense. There needs to be more going on, because if I can just focus in on Grish and Schwartz and you know, take away Josto, like, it's easy with 5 guys just coming down on 3 people. And you know, I don't know where you're at, Agent, saying that we're going downhill either, man.
I thought you guys
Like,
were going up. I that was me.
We were 9-0-1 before we played Dolly's team on Monday. And, you know, we went up against Dolly, and, you know, we lost that first game 6-3. And then we came back and we rallied back a little bit, and we had a 2-1 loss and a 1-0 loss. So, I mean, we were able to keep them in check, and we were able to, you know, come out of those tight games. We weren't able to capitalize when we got a chance to, but, you know, it is what it is. Dolly's team is a great team, and I thought that we played them relatively tough after the first 2 periods of this series or so. But, I mean, I'm not scared of anybody in the playoffs. I think that we've got a great team. I think Drug Monkeys, you know, as build, he's fucking awesome on D. I love playing with him. Figo, you know, he's a guy that I've played with for a long time. I haven't really played with him on the left side of the ice all that much, and he's made the adjustment really well. Swagger's a fun guy to play with too. You know, he's a guy that can make stuff happen on his own and you know, get up the ice quickly. You know, I'm excited to see what happens in the playoffs with my team, man. And you know, if it's in betweeners in the first round, we'll see what happens. We'll have a preview of it. I think we play Sunday night this week.
Okay, so be on the lookout for that then. So this is where I'll transition into this thing, because it's kind of already been touched on. we're talking about teams and how they're trending, and it's been something we've talked about in the past on the Throwdown. There's two teams specifically we want to talk about. It's on the image here. The In-Betweeners and the 9-inch males. You look at both these rosters, they both have great teams. The 9-inch males, no fucking clue what's going on there. That's been a straight decline. No clue why. The In-Betweeners been on a decline as well. Dolly, I've already asked, you've already kind of talked about it a little bit. If you have anything to add, be my guest. If not, I can go to somebody else. But I think I would just want to ask you to make sure.
I've always got an opinion. Look, the In-Betweeners played very well to start the season. A lot of teams weren't ready for what they were going to throw. As the season goes on, though, people pay attention. And they start noticing your tendencies. And you can only go so long without using your D efficiently, or it becomes easier to stop you. They know that. I've told them that. As for Esso's team, they're a typical example of having a whole bunch of puzzle pieces that just don't fit together. Esso and Luca are great two-way players, but they don't have a number one scorer. I don't care what anybody says. Luca is not a number one scorer. He is a number one center, and he's a damn good one. But you need someone to put the puck in the net. If even Chu isn't a number one scorer. He's a good player. I love Chu, but it's not enough. And when you don't have that guy to dunk from a playmaking center or a playmaking left wing, which Esso is too, he's a great two-way player. Sometimes he gets 30, 40 goals in a season, but he's not the guy that's going to deke out the whole team and dunk it for you. He's just not that guy. When you don't have that guy, you ain't going to score. They had a mess with Holtby, which sucks, and they tried their best to piece what they can together. They picked up Rondon, but I think Rondon, again, was a victim of a little bit of overhype from last season. Yes, he played great in the playoffs. Yes, he deserved every bit of praise he got. No, he didn't deserve to go end of first round. Sorry. That's just my opinion. Fuck me if I'm wrong, but the stats are kind of saying otherwise. It's unfortunate to see it happen, but there's a lot of great players that just aren't fitting together on that team.
Okay.
Man, me and Dolly used to butt heads so hard, but man, he's really accurate. Holy cow. That's spot fucking on, man. I think you're seeing Holtby that everybody talks about that bad. I mean, he's had a down season to his grade. But maybe that's a testament to the team that he's on. I don't know if that's the true statement or not. But I agree that the 9-inch males team, that every single person on that team, I'd play with them. Every single one of them, I'd play with them. But for whatever reason, they're not jiving, they're not meshing. It's not working. And that's unfortunate because they have a team that's full of a lot of talent, and they're going to miss the playoffs. So it's a weird deal. And I think the In-Betweeners, I touched on it before, they're a victim of people studying a little bit of tape and strength of schedule coming into play at the end of the season.
Okay. Mr. Ability, how about you?
So I'll jump on board this being a bad guy role. But I said it to Esso when Esso was going around and he was telling everybody who he was going to draft with his first pick. And he came to me and he asked me, and I gave my 2 cents, and I told him, I said this on another Throwdown also, so you can't hate me too much, but I said, man, Luca is a great pick. There's no doubt. But I don't think he's the right pick because I just don't think he was – I didn't think he was hungry. I didn't think he wanted it. I didn't think he was fighting like some of these guys out here fight. Like some people in this league want that belt like you wouldn't believe, and they don't want it once. They want it multiple times. But this team right here, I know Chu's giving it his all. He's pumped up and he's ready to play at any point. And Esso's kind of the same way. He's a little bit more quiet with the way he approaches it. But that guy, since last season, he really has. He wanted it this season. He wanted a captain. He wanted to take home the belt. I don't know why this team is declining. I want to touch on Rondon real quick too. Rondon, I don't think was taken too early. What I think ended up happening, because he played fantastic the whole playoffs. It wasn't like it was a fluke. It was game in, game out the whole playoffs last season. This guy performed. I think he should have been taken where he was taken. I just don't think he's been able to live up to it, man. Him and Holtby, there's a couple guys that just aren't able to keep it going, and that happens, okay? So let's not fault him too much there because Rondon is an excellent player, and when he turns it on, he turns it on. Some guys tend to perform better in the playoffs when there's pressure, I guess when they're under pressure, so keep that in mind too. As far as the 9-inch nails, man, the In-Betweeners, I don't know what's going on here. I think this team right here would be unstoppable if they would practice. I don't know if this team practices. I got to say, Dominator Silva, he would love to win a belt. There's no doubt about it. I know that guy dreams about it on accident sometimes, along with other things, usually females, but whatever, maybe some schlongs or some eggplants. But, all the way to, he's a great goalie. I think that these two teams, the line, he's been playing really well, but he's not getting as many wins as you would have expected him to have for being talked about for a Vezina, right? Because his name's been brought up for that Vezina, and, he's sitting around 50% or less actually. So I don't know, man. I like both these teams. I don't know why they're on the decline. I think if they, for lack of a better term, get their head out of their ass and maybe play a little bit more, I think that they'd be doing a lot better than they are.
Pale, did I ask you yet?
No, you haven't.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I've kind of lost track a little bit. Go ahead.
You're good. To be completely honest, and this is going to definitely hurt some feelings. Both of these teams have an attitude issue. You've got guys on both teams that know how to get emo and stay emo, and they carry it over from series to series to series. And it's, I don't know how you can play like that. I think sometimes, you just need some positivity, and you just need to go out and know that you can play and know that you can put the puck in the net. And I think that goes a long way. I think some people, they play under that pressure and they feel like, if this starts going south, it's just going to continue to go south and it's never going to change. And I think, there's some people, on both of those rosters that, have those issues and are going to continue to make that into a reality. And, maybe they'll be able to turn around. But, I think that's just the reality of how some people are. They think that something's over and they get it into their head that it's over and they're not going to win even before they start playing. And that just turns into reality that manifests itself.
Agreed. Something I've said before the draft started this season, because everyone was talking about how Esso was saying he was going to take Luka at number 1. He's going to take Luka at number 1. And I was so persistent on saying he was going to take Cosmic. Now, I get some people in this league may not value my opinion because I may be younger. I may not have been playing in this league as much as or as long as other people have.
Damn sexy.
Right back at you. But, the reason I said Cosmic was not even because of Esso's personal interest in him. Cosmic, to me, is somebody who has the playmaking ability. He can carry the puck all around the ice all he wants to. He can make the passes that anybody else can. And he can bury the puck. So you have Esso who can carry the puck around. He can bury the puck as well. But not at will like Cosmic can. And I think the only thing that kind of hinders Cosmic is that he's playing center when he's a better winger. And then I think Esso can play center. Obviously, he doesn't want to, and I think he's tried it a few times this season. That's why I just said in the beginning, I think Cosmic was his choice because he needed that person that could really put the puck in the net, that has a track record of putting the puck in the net. Because the thing is, it's no shots against Luka. Luka is the number 1 center in this league. Again, though, when you get that first overall pick, you really want to make sure it's someone worth that value that's really going to make sure that if you don't have another pick again for another I think it was like 20-something picks, you're looking at another person that will really probably just be able to carry the puck around and not really be that goal scorer. So he needs to make sure that guy can put the puck in the net with his first pick. So, I mean, it's a hard thing. You got he's got Luka back at D now. He's got Chu up at front and center with Hockey Mike up there. You watch Chu's streams, he literally just rips on Mike the whole time or his own team or himself. It's actually hilarious. I'll say that. So if you don't get the chance to watch it, go to his Twitch and go to his clips. It's hilarious. But that team, like Dolly said it perfect. Sometimes you have puzzle pieces, they just don't fit. And I think that is what happened here. And with the in-betweeners, I don't know. If they're not using their defense, that's the biggest thing. All you have to do is just come down in the zone and just block middle, and it's never going to work for them. But if they start using their points, maybe it opens up more. Realistically, you have to see. You got Dom Silva on the back end. Let him get some shots off. Let him use his pass ability to be able to get you guys some passes down there. They both have great teams. I don't know why the in-betweeners are falling. 9-inch males just seem like they aren't connecting or aren't clicking or just something's not working. But they're both going to have to improve if they want any chance to stay alive. 9-inch males have to improve just to stay in the playoffs. In-betweeners have to improve if they want to win that first round. So Let me.
I think they're honestly technically out already.
You said technically out. So what do you guys have for points right now?
Me?
Yeah, because they
we
have
6
30.
more. Wherever we're at, we have 6 more than that. But I think they're also missing games that haven't been. They got swept last night, so I don't know if.
Okay, so you guys are at 42 points, and if they just played another series and got swept, they're at 37. I think that's their series. I think that's their season.
I'm pretty damn sure, but.
So if that's the case, then they're out of the playoffs. Like, it happened and it did it.
I'm in the shout box last night said he was playing center the last game because they were technically out of playoffs.
Okay, so then we'll go with that. So, they're out then, and I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe SO fixes his whole draft strategy going forward. Maybe these players improve or are better with other people. We don't know. But we'll go into this next topic, and I saw it in the chat box today, which is why I wrote it down and really wanted to talk about it. What I want to do is here first is I want to talk about what makes a goalie Vezina potential, and then talk about who right now in the league is a potential Vezina winner. And what I really want to do is, it's kind of cool that 4 of us in here have played goalie in this league. To my knowledge, Agent hasn't, but I still want to hear what Agent thinks and who he thinks. So I'm going to go right down the line of how it appears on my screen. Ability. What gives somebody, or what makes somebody be a Vezina potential winner?
Whew. Well, I'll tell you what, because I have never viewed myself arrogantly without any justification as a Vezina winner, I can honestly say that I think it's an accumulation of things, right? You have to give a little attention, I feel, to the amount of shutouts the goalie has. Now, I know the team plays a huge part in that, but actually getting a shutout is also done with a goalie. There's been a couple cases where, 5 shots or less has happened, 6 shots or less, whatever. That's kind of a questionable thing. But I like to give a little attention to the shutout margin. The average goals allowed doesn't mean a whole lot to me, because I feel like if you give up 3 goals a game, but your team finds a way to win those games, then you are part of that winning solution. So I don't pay too much attention to that, but I do take a closer look at the amount of goals scored and the amount of shots that he's faced or she's faced. I think that I know those kind of go together, but it's a little bit different, right? Like if a guy's faced 500 fucking shots and he's let in 100 goals, I'm a little bit more like, okay, well, that's 400 saves as opposed to somebody who has let in 80 goals and faced 300 shots. It's a little bit different, but I don't know, man. I think, in all honesty, without breaking it down too much, when we go to vote on Vezina winners, we typically, in my opinion, have gotten it right thus far. I think that Holtby deserved it last season. There was a questionable sort of scenario with Steven. Now, we won't get into that too much because I'm sure he's already crying about it just because I mentioned his name.
I actually wanted to kind of bring that up a little bit, but I'll wait until my turn. No, because it's going to tie into one of the points I make. So continue, though. Continue.
No, Cortez, take off, man.
Well, okay, so what I think is a potential Vezina winner, it plays in many factors, and I think Pale and Dolly are really going to agree with me here. I think almost everybody here would. But first off, what is your team defense looking like? What is the defensive pairing in front of you? How defensive are the forwards in front of you? Because that's going to play into the quality of shots that you're receiving, how many shots you're receiving, what kind of shots they are. If you're receiving 25 shots a game, but every single one of them is coming over the blue line shooting a low shot for a rebound, and they're never connecting, yeah, you got a 25 save game. If it's a shutout, great. If it's not, I mean, in the end, a perfect example was Kinky last season. She had the most shots faced out of anybody. But still, regardless of save percentage, never in my book, and it's no diss to her, never would have won a Vezina vote for me. And it's not because of that. It's because I knew it was my team, and I knew like every other team thought, it's Kinky and net. Go over the blue line, shoot a puck low, and try to see if you can either get it in the net or we'll find a way to get a garbage goal from it. And I think that's where the whole quality of shots come in. Are the goals that the person has against them EA goals? Are they one-timers? Are they breakaways? And it really continues to play in. So the team defense thing, how consistent they are, just little things like that. So when I bring up the whole B-Crips versus Steve thing and where B-Crips won it, the main argument was that Steve had Daly, an odd guy in front of him, and then you look and you had Dolly, you had Rome, and was it Thamps Dolly, if I remember correctly, for the boys?
Yeah, it was Thamps. Yeah, our team makeup was a lot better than Crips was.
Okay, so when you look at it, these two had very similar stats, and yeah, Steve went on to win the championship with these guys, and he had great stats. Personally, Steve had little to nothing to do with it, and that's no shots as in like he's bad because he's a great goalie. I don't know why he ever gave it up. I mean, I could do the same thing for many people here, but he was not the sole reason their team won. The potential Vezina winner is someone that really takes it and says, "Oh, this team is nothing without this goaltender." Example is Carey Price. Like those kind of guys that their team isn't great in front of them, but they're great. So that's why I think B-Crips won that season. But either way, that's what really does it. And that's why there's always an argument of who should be the Vezina winner. And I think ability's right. I think Holtby deserved to win it last season. That's why he got my vote. I mean, hell, I was in the top 4 goalies. I didn't even vote for myself. I didn't even put in my own name for Vezina as a media guy. Because obviously I wouldn't do that. And plus, I didn't think I deserved it. So
He's lying.
I'm not, though. But either way though, there's so many little things that contribute to it. So, Pale, let me ask you this. As a former Vezina winner, what do you look for in someone that could potentially be a Vezina winner?
I think you hit the nail on the head. One with it matters what's going on with the team in front of you. You know, if you look at a guy like Peaceful Bob, obviously, you know, he's going to have pretty good stats as the goalie on like one of the best teams in the league with the least amount of goals against in the league. But you look at it a little bit deeper and you look at his save percentage, and I think save percentage is probably one of the best indicators for a goalie, in that, you know, the best goalie in the league, the best goalie traditionally in our league, I think has been putting up around an 850 save percentage thereabout.
Not even actually right now. The goalies that are actually playing aren't even over 820 right now. They're below that. Legion's at number 1 with 8.57 with only 3 games played.
Yeah, I think I was kind of referring to like past seasons.
Sorry.
I think they've been a little bit more defensive. But you know, I think save percentage really tells the difference between, you know, the best goalie and somebody in a mediocre tier. You don't have an 820 save percentage by going out and having, you know, a bad game here and a bad game there. You have to be brutally consistent game after game after game to make 8 saves on 10 shots. And that's just an average, but that would give you an 800 save percentage. To be even better than that, you have to do 8 saves, 9 saves on 10 shots, just consistently over the course of the entire season. And I think consistency is what makes a Vezina winner. It's somebody that is always going to be there to make the saves that you're supposed to make, always going to be there to do, you know, to excel at that position. Goalie is such a weird position because it just matters who is in front of you, because take DJ, for example, this season. The guy's playing out of his mind every single night. He's not going to get the recognition that he deserves for that, but you know that he's the best guy on his team. He's the guy that's going out and making these ridiculous saves. And then you look at somebody, again, I'm not using Peaceful Bob to tear you down, Bob, but you're a guy that's on the best team in the league, the best defensive team in the league statistically, and you're middle of the pack for your save percentage stats. I think that's really telling as a goalie.
Well, something interesting is, because I wanted to go look it up after you just said it. Last season, the top 6 goalies all had at least a .020, like 20% better save percentage than the number 1 goalie who's consistently playing right now, which is kind of interesting. I mean, you look between. Go ahead.
You look at the points difference this season compared to last season, and you can just see it. The top teams in this league right now are better than the top teams that we had last season, yep, just from a strength standpoint.
Yeah, you're right. So I mean, everything you said is perfectly the exact same way I would have said it. So let me do this then. Mark, I'll end it with you so you can talk about who you think should be the Vezina winner or who could be. Dolly, you've played goalie as well in another league before. You know what it's like. You know the headaches. What makes someone a Vezina winner or a potential winner?
You guys brought up a lot of good points, and I agree with pretty much everything you say. For me, particularly, to win my vote, I'm a video guy. I go back, I watch everybody fucking play. I watch everybody's games. I watch everything, man. I got no life. But by doing that, you can tell by watching a goalie play who is actually contributing and keeping their teams in games when they need it the most. There are going to be people that there were times when we played on the Hut Heroes 2 seasons ago, and Cripps made like 3 saves. He made all the saves, but he didn't really have to do anything. It doesn't mean Cripps isn't a great goalie. He's a fantastic goalie. But there are going to be teams that are able to basically win games without their goalie. I feel bad. Bob's been picked on quite a bit. He actually he's been a tremendous goalie for his team, and they make a lot of mistakes too. And Bob
he's been
just as
great.
much.
He's been great this season. Yeah.
But for me particularly, I'm looking for the guy that I'll use myself for an example. At least once a fucking game, I give the puck away and there's a breakaway on Thoms. But Thoms bails me out every fucking time, because he's mentally there. He's focused the entire. It's so hard to stay focused as a goddamn goalie. That was my biggest problem. And for those teams that let up 4 or 5 shots a game, man, how do you do it? Like, how do you stay focused enough to be razor sharp and get those shutouts? It's crazy. Yeah, I like, and it's gonna sound like a homer because Thompson's on my team, but guys like Thompson, guys like DJ, and even Lime, you could see in the way they play that they are holding their team together when their team is struggling, and that to me is infinitely more valuable than someone getting 100 fucking shutouts. I don't care about that. I don't care about the stats because you're also a product of your team in front of you. I care what you do to keep your team in it.
For sure. Agent, what are you thinking, buddy?
I mean, I think you guys all made good points. There's not much to add on what there is or what makes up a Vezina winner. I think my front runner would be what Dolly said, Toms. He's been a guy that in our series, I'll take those early in the season. We played him and he made some fucking crazy saves, man. It's really frustrating playing a goalie that can do stuff like that. It's like playing the old B. Cripps is kind of the way I looked at it. And I knew Toms was a good goalie from Pogs. Pogs is the one that told me he played goalie, I think in LG, I believe, and said he was good. But I think he is the front runner just because of what Dolly kind of said. There's times that I've watched in our series, he got left out to dry and bailed him out. And I've seen it in video. I mean, the guy is a good dude. He's a good player. And I think that's probably my front runner. If I had to pick another one, would probably be Lime, because another guy that's kind of held a team together, that's maybe has a better record than they should because of him, some stuff like that. So those are probably my 2 just quick picks. Bob obviously is another guy that should be up there. I think those 3 would probably be your top 3 if I had to round it out. But it's going to come down to the league, what the league thinks, who's impacted games more and who's been more frustrating to play against. I think that's what a big portion of it comes down to, is who fucking annoyed you when you played against them 2 weeks ago, stuff like that. They stand out. It's not hard to tell who's strong in that and who's not. Agreed.
Ability, what are you thinking?
Well, I already touched on this, right? Didn't I? Maybe, kind of. I don't know, man. I after listening to what a lot of you guys said, I almost feel like perhaps maybe I should be a candidate for Vezina. I have now I know I'm tooting my own horn here, so you can slap me down daily. I know when you hear this, you're gonna be like, "Ability, you fucking chump."
I'm gonna get a phone call now just to play it on the show. It's probably
but man, I have been keeping my team in some close games. But that aside, man, the truth of the matter is that the league has some good goalies. I think that there was an update that actually, if you want to touch on why things are so different from last season, there was an update. I don't know when it took place. I want to say probably about 3 months ago, but something happened where it just changed things. And on the goalie perspective, I noticed a lot of stuff that we took for granted. Like even for me, one of my signature moves when you were getting on a breakaway was I dive out and try and poke check it. That does not work anymore. It doesn't work a single time. I've tried it several times since then, and it just doesn't work. So some things in the game have changed throughout the updates, and I think that's probably why some of the statistics are a little bit different from last season. But we have a lot of good goalies in here. I do like the way that that Lime has played, regardless of his win percentage. And Thomps, I haven't got a chance to see him play enough because I haven't watched a lot of your series, Dolly. But when we did play you guys, he was on point. I mean, he was doing the best he could in that series. So I don't know, man. I think that so far 239 in the voting process has gotten the Vezina right, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna stick with that, man. Hey, goalies, we love you all. We love all of you, even the legions out there.
So, Pale, what do you think, man? Who do you think is the front runners right now?
Well, I just got to play Tomps on Monday, and the guy was ridiculous. Game 3 of that series, Dolly's team's up 1-0, and Figo gets on a breakaway, and Tomps just shuts it down. And then with a minute left in the game, Figo gets on another breakaway, and Tomps just shuts it down. In a 1-goal game, a 1-0 game, that's ridiculously huge, obviously. So Tomps is a guy that's definitely up there for the Vezina in my book. Lime is another one that I said is, he's a guy that I think has really held his team together. And to be quite honest, regardless of where his team is at in the standings, I think DJ should be up there. For another guy that I thought really played well this season is the Tomahawk on Non-Cane Sensuals. I think that he's had a really strong season as well. At least from the eye test from when we played them, I thought that he had a really strong game. And even I know I'm naming like half the goalies in the league here, but Master Shotgun I was really impressed by as well. We played him 2 or 3 times this season, I think. And, he was a really tough goalie to beat. He's a guy that reads the play really well. I think the eye test is big for the Vezina, and I think, you just need to see it. You need to see who's playing well and who's hard to score on.
For sure. If I had to pick 3 people right now who I think are in that run, I'm looking at Thomps, I'm looking at Lime, and I'm looking at my own goalie, Mac North. And the reason I'm going to say this is something I said is it's not so much about the shot quantity, it's more about the shot quality. Thomps, perfect example is those breakaways. He's great. He's a great goalie, and he's consistent. That's another point we brought up. And he's number 1 in the league right now. Goals against average, working great for him. Save percentage, number 1. He's got decent amount of shots, not as much as the other guys. And I think, again, though, it plays in the fact of like what defense is playing in front of him and how that's working. A goalie that we haven't even brought up at all is Sober enough. The deal is with Sober. I think Sober's played a great season as goalie. I think it's something that it's hard to put somebody in that race for the Vezina if they don't normally play it. When you have these guys that play it season in, season out. Sober's been great. I think the Pirates' defense has been great. I think things have worked out for them. I think things go in their favor. It's, in the end, Sober has 7 more games played than Mac North, and Mac has more shots faced against. And those are like quality shots and everything. So I think it's kind of like a peaceful Bob thing. I just wanted to bring his name up because he's having a great season still at goalie, because he's still number 3 in save percentage. So there's no harm to him there. But Lime has played great. Just teams having a rough go with that win percentage. Thomps, same thing, but teams playing great and they're winning. Mac, I can tell you at firsthand, I don't give anybody props in net if they're not doing it right. And Mac's playing great. The goals that go in on him are one-timers that he doesn't stand a chance on. They're breakaways if they happen, or they're EA goals. I mean, it's the way it works for everybody. But I'm telling you, positionally, he's always sound. He's stopping the pucks that need to be stopped for us. And our team plays like shit. Like, we don't score when we need to. We don't stop the puck when we need to. It's not working. So, but still, Thomps and Mac are number 1 and number 2. Lime's just down the list a little bit, and I just think it's because of that. DJ can't be counted out either. Number 1 in the league for shots faced, and those are still quality shots, the one that he's getting. So, I mean, there's so many potential names, but again, it's that eye test these guys have talked about. Like, when you look at it and you're like, oh, they're a great goalie or they're not. You know, they're facing great shots or they're not. It's their team or it's not. Little things like that. So at the end of the season, like Ability said, I think the league normally gets it right. We'll see who gets it, and I really don't have a number 1 pick right now, but if I'm going to have to pick one, I'd probably have to say Thomps just because stats don't lie, and he is still a great goaltender that's very consistent all the time. So we can move past that. Listen, the topic that everybody always talks about every season, but we never know what the answer is Marine Mike. Does he get drafted? Now, 4 of you here have captained. I have not, so I will not be giving my opinion. Does Marine Mike get drafted with the way he's been playing this season at goalie, when he's had to play forward, when he's had to play in general? What the hell is happening? Agent. Let's hear it.
Man, it's tough. I made Mike pretty mad this season. I had the 7 Taves and pretty much named it after Mike's feet, and I didn't pick him. I think he was a little heated at me after that. But honestly, I think this season, above all, the dude has proved he deserves a spot on a roster as a tendy. I mean, the dude, he stepped into multiple different teams, helped them win crucial games. I think without a doubt, he deserves an opportunity as a starting goalie on a team's roster. The way he's proved it, I don't know why. I think it's just a mindset thing. I don't know, but it's definitely a guy that I think should be getting picked this coming season, and I definitely hope he does.
Okay. Ability. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so look, I'm a Marine Mike fan. I know that the guy has he's taken his lumps. He's taken a few beatings from some people, but the truth of the matter is that he would already be starting in the league if he did not push up to try and get the puck. He plays good defense. He can stay on his guy. He can intercept passes. I've seen him do it all. I played with the guy a ton in the past. He just tends to push up a little bit too much, and it compromises a breakaway. And that's the only reason he hasn't been drafted thus far, because that is commonly known. It's not even a secret. If he could tone that back, he would be a defensive starter in the league. As far as goalie goes this season, man, the goalie position is all about consistency. It's night in, night out. Have we seen enough? Have you guys seen enough to really say that you'd start Marine Mike at a goalie position? I'll tell you what, another player recently tried to do this, and that has now come around full circle, and we're starting to see that initially, although there was success, a lot of it depends on the defense. Not every goalie is B-Crips, and you're not going to get a random guy that pops into the league out of nowhere or jumps in net for a series here or a series there and can keep it going for a whole season. So do I say Marine Mike starts as a goalie? No. But I do think Marine Mike should be on a team for certain, because he can fill in at multiple positions, and boy, if the guy's got it, he's got it.
All right. Pale, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna kind of disagree. I think Marine Mike's best position is goalie, and I think he should stick with it. I think he should go the peaceful Bob route and, make that his thing, make that his niche. It's gonna be hard to break into that. We're going into the summer season, and there's probably going to be less teams. Meaning that there's going to be less goalies needed. And there's a lot of good goalies in this league. So, it's tough to say, whether that's going to happen next season or not. But the guy can play, and he's shown that he can play at a decently high level. So, I think down the line he will be. We'll see. From what I know, I don't think he likes playing goalie. He doesn't want to play that. So, if that's not what he wants to do, then he needs to focus down and bear down and try and play something that he does like playing and really practice and try to get better. That goes for everybody in the league. I mean, it all comes down to how much you're playing. I can sit there and not play for a week, and I feel like I'm playing like shit the week after. So if I went like a whole month or 2 months without playing a game, I would be totally lost on the ice afterwards.
Okay. That's a great breakdown. Dolly, how you feeling?
Oh, I feel good. Look, I'm going to touch on this really quickly because this happened twice this season. If you are a goalie and you have a good series, don't come in the chat box and say you're the best fucking goalie in the league, because it always comes back to kick you in the ass. Happened to Holpe the next night, which was hilarious, and it happened to Mike. Don't do it. As for Mike's skill, I think he's good enough to play on a team. I really do. I think sometimes he has a bit of an overbearing personality, which is scary for some captains. Some captains aren't willing to take on that risk. Now, Mike, I love you, But I think if you kind of tone it back a little bit and you focus on your craft, whether you hone your skills at goalie or you hone your skills at defense, you deserve to be on a team. But also, don't go in the chat box and talk about conspiracies that nobody wants you to play.
So, okay. So we got past that then, and here's the last topic we got to talk about because we got 20 minutes till the series starts. And the last thing I want to talk about, I'm doing this for Schwartz because he bugs us about it every week, is the scoring race. And it's between two people. It is literally only between two people. It's between Surprise Me 22, of course, he's always in that title race, and then Schwartz, and that's why Schwartz wants us to talk about it. So what I did is
whoa.
Oh, yeah,
Hold on.
right? What?
Welcome to the Web is probably in that scoring race as well.
Webb
The guy's got like 96 points, I think.
Well, here's the deal. Surprise Me has 123. Schwartz has 114. And then the next behind is Pogs at 99. And then Grish at 98 and Webb at 96. And Webb has 96 in 39 games, where everybody above him has 33 games.
Webb's going to be able to play like 52 games this series.
Are we still going to factor that? Because if I remember correctly, Cosmic had more points than everybody one season with more games, and it didn't factor.
I mean, he still got the Art Ross.
He did? Oh, okay, then my bad. So either way, whatever it may be, then I guess he still has that chance. But I'll look at it this way then. I'll look it up, and I'll tell you what I'm looking at here for a second. So Surprise Me 22 and Schwartz both have over 100 points. Surprise Me is ahead of Schwartz by 9 points. Chile has left to play Walker, Texas Danglers, and Bad Boys. In-betweeners have yet to play the
They also have to
non-consensuals
play
and
us.
Bad Boys. Who? Chile does?
We played the last night of the season.
Oh, so it's a reschedule. Okay. And Cutie Patooties. With the booties, of course. So, if in-betweeners don't have a reschedule, which they might, they're supposed to play non-Kane and Bad Boys still. So
They both have 3 series. They also have to play Tide Pod.
And they have to play Tide Pod. Okay. So when I look at this, neither team has an easier walk in the park, other than I think Chile with the Walker Texas Danglers, where I think Surprise Me may be able to take advantage. But they've been playing better recently, so we don't know. So, Dollar.
But is it really advantage because the other team already played them? So it's just evening out in the end, really.
Well, I'm saying it all depends. Towards the end of the season, your team has a little bit more chemistry, has a little bit more working for them. You may be able to run up the score a little bit more if your stuff's intact, if that makes sense. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's just them playing catch up. But either way, Surprise Me has more points than Schwartz, so he's just getting more points. But you know what then, Agent? So you look at this then. You got Surprise Me has 123 points. Schwartz 114. Their goals are about even. Their assists are about even. Who's going to win this scoring race with these schedules that they have ahead?
Surprise me, point blank. The guys, it's not even a favoritism thing. I like watching Schwartz play more than I like Surprise Me play, if that's a point. But Surprise Me just buries the puck, man. Whatever it takes, however it takes, and his team gives him the puck. I mean, he's force fed the puck more than I think Schwartz has force fed the puck. I mean, they're pretty close. But I think Surprise Me, the dude's been at the top for 3 or 4 seasons. How long has he been here? 3 seasons now?
Yep.
And he's been the top every season. You know, he would have beat Cosmic if Cosmic didn't have more games played, honestly. That's really what it came down to. I think he should be everybody's favorite as an MVP. I mean, he's been there how many times over and over and over, and he consistently has carried a team to a top 3 spot over and over and over. You know, I think he got snubbed his first season here when he definitely dominated the league and should have had it, but I think they're both really good players, but I do think Surprise Me ends up with more points than Schwartz does.
Okay. I'll say this real quick because Pale brought it to my attention where Webb will have more series. I looked up who non-Kane's going to be playing. They will be playing the in-betweeners, Ski Mask Lovin', Cunning Stunts, and the Cutie Patooties with the booties. So I think Webb has a chance because of those 2 series there with Ski Mask and Cunning Stunts. But in-betweeners obviously not easy to score on. Neither are the Cutie Patooties there. So realistically, they kind of have that. They have 2 series where they can run up some points if they really have their shit together. But I mean, Webb's like 20 points behind Schwartz, like over 20 points behind Schwartz. So I mean, he's gonna have to have one big series and then continuously be big throughout it. So I mean, if you want to add him into the scoring race, that'd be my guess. But I still think it's between Schwartz and Surprise Me. But ability. So, go off that fact. Surprise Me, he's been a top scorer in this league, top point Gary, like consistent. Is his name in for MVP of the season?
Who What name did you?
Surprise me. I
Yeah.
meant.
Okay.
Sorry.
So this is something I was gonna say before you guys actually brought it up, was that he has been at the top for a minute. He is at the top currently. Not only that, but when you take his closest competitor, which is Schwartz, Surprise Me has more hits. He's got a better overall team winning percentage. Look, man, this isn't even a race. Surprise Me is going to close the door on this. And I'll tell you why. It's because season after season, he strives for it. He loves the competition of it, but more importantly, he gets the W's when it comes to this specific title. This isn't actually a race, and it's not worth talking about. Surprise Me, we're going to hand you the title already, buddy. In my opinion, you've done it for multiple seasons. You're kicking ass this season, and if you continue to finish out the season the way you've been doing, it's all yours, buddy. Make it happen.
For sure. So, I mean, there's not really much to say on it. It's strength of schedules. It's who has more points on who. I don't think I need to go through the line on everyone on this one. It's just pretty basic. Surprise Me's in the lead. If he can play the game that he plays, he should hold it. Webb has a chance, but don't really see it happening. But either way, let's go down the line one last time. Does anybody have anything they want to add to what we've talked about on the show, or want to throw in anything in? Ability? Well, I'll just go down the line of what's on my screen here.
Oh, I just want to say hi to everybody. I missed you the last couple weeks. One thing that I have to mention, because I couldn't stop thinking about it the entire time I've been here, is Pale's hair looks like something out of Hollywood. I mean, it's got this slick little thing going on, man. You should be an actor for real, man. Looking beautiful over there. And the same thing goes for you, Cortez. You got this baby face, but it's just so damn lovable, man. I don't know if I want to pinch your cheeks or give you a kiss, but maybe both.
I'll take it.
Dalai Lama's always sexy, so that is what it is. Now, Agent, all I got to say to you, buddy, is go back to the grill and cook me some food. I love you, bro. But, no, man, 239, I love you. I'm happy to be back this week. Sorry I was running late. Life is crazy. I bought a brand new toy today, a new monitor I haven't even got to play with. But things are coming together. I'm busy all across the board. But let's send it around here. Dalai Lama, what you got, bro?
Not a whole lot. I think I've spoken my mind enough tonight. I think people are done listening to me. I do want to say personally thank you, because I haven't been on in a while. I just want to thank everybody who's made a conscious effort to help me in the last month and a half. It's been a very tough time, and you guys have been nothing but loving and supportive of me. And for that, I am very grateful. My team and the community, it's just been fantastic, and thank you guys very much.
Agent?
What are we on closing statements? I fucking got a phone call in the middle of it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, honestly, good show to you boys. But I have nothing really to say. I look forward to this last week of games being played and how playoffs are actually going to shape up. And I also think an interesting edge is what some of these teams that they know they're in the playoffs, what maybe they do to set up a series against somebody they'd rather play more than the other. There's another side to look at that I think is going to be interesting that may play a factor in this. Two of the teams being in-betweeners, or one of the teams being in-betweeners, they can really try for W's and choose who they want to face, or, however they want to do it, But I think look forward to it. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and it was a fun show, boys.
Pale, what about you, my man?
Yeah, no, I'm just excited for the end of the season here. We've got the playoffs coming up, and got another week of action left. But yeah, excited to just wrap it all up. Be on the lookout for awards. I should be starting those up soon-ish, like within the next week, and the voting will probably be up, within 2 weeks or so, right around the start of the playoffs. Look out for those. I'm probably going to run with the same format that we ran with last year, where we had mostly media vote on the actual award winners, with some community awards that are built in as well. So there will be some to vote on, but for the most part, it's going to be a media thing. But I'll again have the Ted Lindsay back, and we'll have the All-Star selection done by the community. Be on the lookout for those. They should be up within the next week or so.
Okay, and what I want to say is I really do want to thank Dolly for coming on. I hope everything's going well with him and his family. You're in a very hard time, and I hope everything's good and safe and happy, and everything's taken care of. So thank you for taking your time out of your day to join us. And I want to thank Ability as well. he hasn't been on the last few weeks. He's been very busy. You know, he's a family man. He's got a couple jobs here. He's working hard. So thank you for coming in to join us. You know, Pale just got off work at 8 and got settled in, and you know was on for the show. And then Agent has been busy today doing some stuff, and he's found his way onto the show each time. So I want to thank all of you for taking time of your day to come to the show. I mean, I know Daly's not here. Daly got called in for something, but you know, Daly's normally pretty persistent and consistent with being here, and he always wants a show to continue. So I got to say thank you to him for pushing me today to make sure to remember to do the show. And just thank you to everybody that comes out and watches. That always helps us. So we should be back next week. We're not sure which day yet. Most likely will be Thursday, but we'll figure it out. So thank you for joining us this week on the Throwdown. Until next time, it's been the boys here from 239. We're out.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.